Well, that went surprisingly well. We didn't even die. I mean, we kind of got to a point where we were testing it out properly without all our armor on, and even then we didn't die. We very nearly did, but we didn't actually die. And with getting the Ravagers in there and a few other bits and bobs, I am pleased to announce we are finally ready over here for Chapter 3. So I'm just going to quickly bust through this door here and just show you a little bit on the inside here. Once again, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, this is essentially where you come in, and there's just a book here that says basically not to go in because death and bad things, and then there's a very obvious button just here. It's not really a challenge room, this one, it's just to get you into the start. And now we actually have a bed here as well, which is probably a good thing because, well, hopefully people are going to die when they're doing this. Whether that's going to be to constant fall damage or to landing on dripstone spikes, I don't really know. And to be honest, I don't really mind. As long as they die or take damage and use up lots of their foods, they're more likely to die in the labyrinth, then I'll be happy. But you've seen all that bit, this is what we're here for. And look at that. It works an absolute treat. When you first land, I have added a sign now that says look behind you, because if you don't start running within the first 2 seconds, you do get hit by the dude. And although there's going to be a little bit of armor on our players, there's not going to be lots and lots, and you can see the spare one sticking his head through the wall there. Maybe I should move him a little bit. But we do have a spare one as well, just in case the first one dies. But that is all done, that's marvellous, it's complete, and I'm very happy with how that works. And you'll notice I've also sorted out the loot barrels. So these do, of course, gradually filter through loot from the boxes behind. We've got tools and armor in them now as well, instead of just useless stuff, because there is nowhere to drop off your stuff here before you go into the maze of death. Because, you know, they're probably going to lose their stuff, but that's why we've got barrels with cooler stuff in, around and about, although, yeah, the randomness hasn't actually put a tool in there, but there is a flint and steel, so I suppose at least you can set fire to the zombies. So there's also good loot hidden in other areas of the labyrinth. We've just taken the shortcut here, and if we swoop up the top here, we've also got our brand new shopkeeper in place. And now we have, over here, Tiny Annie. So this is, well, Annie the Tiny Merchant, I should say, because she's standing on a half slab down there. I didn't really want to raise her up any higher because it just made me chuckle. So Annie over here is selling, once again, weapons and potions and so on and things like that, but they're 5 gold coins each, as in per item. You might not have any coins, and somebody in chat, it may have been in one of the comments, it may have been on Twitch chat, I really can't remember who it was, so sorry for whoever it was that suggested this, but it's an absolutely genius idea. And we were discussing how, you know, they're cheat passes, maybe we should rebrand them. People don't want to be called a cheater after all. And somebody has suggested that maybe we actually just sell heads directly next to the merchants. So in here, you can get 10 gold coins, which will allow you to buy 2 of these items. And I guarantee these potions are going to be exceptionally useful within these challenges. And you can also buy armor and things like that as well in this box here. So, you know, if people have got a couple of heads they wish to trade and they want to get some stuff, they can do that. If they go through one of these and they die, and then they realise, maybe I do want one of these potions after all, they can once again just trade in that head, get the coins, and so on. So hopefully this will result in us getting a few more heads from our fellow players. There are further chests hidden throughout the area. I need to remove these. I actually use those to get up into there and add a couple of signs, because that's something else I've done. I've added some signs in certain places around, pretty much just to taunt the players, because that's the kind of guy I am. And through here in the final room, we've got all this looking good as well. Well, better, at least. It would have been nice to be able to sort of swap out lots of the blocks, get some mossy stuff in here as well, but I ran out of time. This project has taken absolutely ages. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's no small quest that we've made here for part 2, but I'm very pleased with how it's all come out. It has been worth the time and the effort, but sadly, we must now move on. We've also installed Murphy, who basically gives instructions for the next part of the quest, and the last thing for us to do is to head over to Piggy's, because with this, everything is actually now ready. And once again, I do want Piggy to be my, well, to be my guinea pig really, and test out the quest first. And once he's done it, we will of course then open it up to everyone else. So it's time to head over to Piggy's and let him know things are beginning. So as Quest Cat is currently busy over in the shopping area advertising Chapter 1, he's actually just sent a note this time to Piggy, essentially telling him to gear up and crack on with his adventures. So after lots and lots of work, Chapter 2 is now done, and it's time for us to return to our city, because on the east side of the city, I want to make a start. I want to add some more roads, I want to sort out the sort of cliffside and make that a bit nicer. And oh my days, look at that mountain. Jesse, that's amazing. Love it. So as I was just saying before I got distracted by mountains, yeah, we're going to work on the east side of the city, we're going to get some roads down and maybe mark out where a few more buildings are going to be. A couple of hours later, as the sun's going down in game here, you can see we have now installed a new road or two. And this one here just goes into a tunnel which goes into the sort of hillside there, and that is not going to go anywhere. We're probably going to fog the end of that tunnel off using the glass fog effect type thing. And this way we've got another road. This one's going to go down to the bottom here. There's going to be a nice car park. And then we're going to have a cafe and a viewing area, some nature trails, and things like that that go around that area. Because I've done absolutely no terraforming this season, and I really do like my terraforming. So I want to do some of that, and I feel like this little sort of cove here is going to be a really good place to make a feature. So we've also been busy over here, as you probably saw in the time-lapse just then. We've managed to get some walls in down here. And of course, that has enabled us to get some paths in up the top and mark out 7 new buildings that we're going to be putting in up the top here. So hopefully we're going to get some of these in today. In fact, I'm almost positive we're going to get at least 1 or 2 of these in today. But first, there is something else we need to attend to. So last episode, we built our concrete generator. Why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep calling it a concrete generator? That's not what it is. Jeez. So last episode we made our stone generator, and there were lots and lots of comments from people telling me that I was a big silly, and there are much better ways of having an on-off switch on something like a stone generator. And you weren't wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to go pull out the lever we've got there, and we are going to use a pressure plate instead, because then I don't have to remember to turn it off when I'm done, and it will only activate when I'm standing on the stone cutting point. And to be honest, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to need to make this work. So with a few small changes, we've replaced the lever that we did have with a redstone torch and, well, basically to flip the signal, and of course a repeater with a lovely little pressure plate there, and that should solve our problems. And ignore the fact my hearts are a little bit low. I certainly didn't have any accidents with the lava just then. So now when we stand here, the machine comes on, it does its thing. I was going to say, or at least it should do. One minute, there we go. There we go. I think it was having a moment. Okay, perfect. Yep, so this works an absolute treat, and now when I back off, it will disable it, and it will turn it off. Although, is that going to cause problems? Okay, it's a little bit weird getting started now, but after the first bit, yeah, we're absolutely fine. Okay, cool, yeah, so that will work just fine, and it stopped slightly differently this time. Whatever. Either way, it does the job, and I don't need to remember to turn it off. So yes, thank you very much to all those that told me I was a doofus and could have done it much better. It is much appreciated. The rest of the interior of that building still needs a lot of work, and there's still no stairs, but we'll ignore that and go back to this area over here, because I want to get some more buildings down. Which means, I think it might happen, you know. I think we're about to have our 3rd time-lapse in this episode already, and a creeper's just spawned up, so I'm off. Toodles! enjoyed that time lapse there, and look at these buildings. I'm very pleased with how they've come out and how they look on the front here. They really do add a lot to the city, and it's just started raining. There we go, much better. The weather has cleared up. But as I was saying, yeah, these buildings here, I think they're pretty much going to be the ones that are on the edge of this city. So they're going to be the ones that you see as you're walking along the path over here. But we do, of course, need to sort out the transition, because this is a very, very rough path. And then we've got a ginormous city there that's going to have all its stone paths and so on. So we're going to need to do something to kind of integrate those two together and keep this bit tied in as well, because of course that does go down to our initial bunker that we had. But we'll be discussing this area a little bit later, because we've got a bit of work to do down there today as well. So taking a closer look at these buildings, don't worry, I did deoxidize that copper in the end. I noticed it in the time lapse, and it was annoying me probably as much as it was annoying you. But that has been sorted, so don't panic, don't panic. And I think I saw a missing piece of glass somewhere. Yeah, look, up the top there, look. That is sloppy work, Beardy. There we go, much better. So, with those minor errors fixed, we can have a proper look at these buildings. And there's a car in the way, so let's get around the side of that. So, this one here, I've kind of used similar colours to what we had on the apartment block next to it, because I think they tie together quite nicely. But then, round the side here, we've got... I mean, this building is absolutely massive as well. Look at the interior of this thing. No idea what we're going to do with it, though. In fact, I have no idea what we're going to do with any of these buildings. I had a little look around a moment ago, and we have 16 buildings that currently have no floors or no purpose. So, yeah, lots of work to do on that front too. But we've also utilised colour palettes from elsewhere in the city as well, because of course we have our chorus farm, which uses this colour palette, and I really wanted to bring that onto this side of the city too. And then we've got a couple of builds that are a lot brighter than ones we've done in the past, and I just really like how they stand out from the rest. But enough waffle about those buildings. We need to actually tie them into the city a bit more, and that means we need to extend our road and possibly even get the car park in over this side. But don't worry, we're not going to be doing another time lapse. I think we've had plenty of those today. But I believe I have all the stairs and other bits and bobs I'm going to need to at least mark out where this road is going to go. So I think I probably want it to sort of turn a corner around here, maybe. We'll use that convenient bit that's already cut out. And if we keep it going this way... Yep, I think that's where we're going to do it, and we'll probably extend this across. And what I'm thinking over here, in regards to this nature area, is to actually have just like a gateway that then goes onto a sort of more natural path. There's be a bit stony at the start, but by the time it gets here, it will convert back into this sort of path, and I need to fill in some creeper holes, but we'll cross that bridge later. But I think that's how we're going to manage the transition. And then across here, we'll just put in a line, and this will be the sort of sectioned off car park. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to get away with it. So I'm going to crack on, get this road in. I might even eat something because I can't even run at the moment. So I'm going to get this road in and possibly even the car park. And I will bring you back in once we've got that sorted. Well, we're making some progress. I've managed to get the path in here and kind of marked out where the nature trail bit's going to go. And I think I've marked out where I want the car park to extend out to, because I want it to be a bit like a viewpoint as well around this area. So I have extended the walls down. If we fly over here and have a look back, you can see I've integrated the walls into the build like I have elsewhere, but I think I'm also going to carry this across over here. In fact, I might quickly do that now. There we go, much better. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out the rest of the car park bit over here, get the fences up to make it a little bit safer, and then I think we would have made some good progress over here, and we should be good to move on. And there we have it, a giant slab of stuff that we can then divide up into a car park. I haven't quite worked out how I'm going to do that yet, so for now I'm just going to leave it as a free roaming car park. Anyone can park wherever they like, including this cow, apparently. I've also managed to get all the fences up, however, I do still need to get some andesite and sprinkle some of that in just to break up the walls so that it blends in a bit better. But I think this is going to work quite well. I also need to get some grass and fill in this hole, and so on and so on. We've got lots of terraforming to do in this general area. But taking a look at the city from a distance now, that really does help seal off that whole entire side. And I think once we get some trees down here to sort of cover up the path transition as well, that's all going to work quite nicely for us. So it looks like we've pulled that one off. Excellent. So the last thing I wanted to look at today is actually down the bottom here, because this entire area all the way through, I think we're going to flood it. And that means I need to do a little bit of preparation work to make that happen, because the way that the ground is at the moment, if we were to flood it, we're gonna flood our bunker, and that's not what we want to do. But I also don't really want to dig out a massive area like this. So I think we might actually build up the land a little bit on this side, and then, well, probably get rid of this bit here, I think. And then we can actually just fill in the water at this level, and then we can go along and make it all look nicer and so on later on. But I think that's probably going to be the best thing for us to do. So I've got a lot of work to do. Yeah, I am still going to need to dig out a lot of stuff. I'm going to need to get some water buckets. I'm going to need to fill in some of these holes as well, because otherwise they're going to cause some problems when we actually try to fill up the whole thing with water. And of course, I also need to make sure that this side here makes sense, because if we're going to raise the water level over here, that means we're probably going to need to raise it over here as well, because I want to break through here, connect these two bits, and we're going to have our city completely surrounded, at least on this side, by a massive lake. And that should, in my opinion, finish off this side nicely, obviously with a bit of terraforming and a massive bridge as well. So yes, lots and lots to do, but I'm afraid that's something I'm going to have to do on stream, because I've reached the end of my recording day today, and if I don't wrap this up now, then you're not going to get an episode tomorrow. So thank you very much for hanging out and watching. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. We've got loads and loads done, and there's another couple of oxidized copper blocks up there, just sitting there silently mocking me. Dang it.